Welcome back to Bold Projections. My name is Bradley Stalder, part of the projections team here at Player Profiler, here to bring you the goods for week 11. Week 10, we crushed it with Austin Ekeler. He finished as a top 5 running back in the week. We had him 10 spots above the expert consensus rankings. So let's get into it with week number 11. The first player for the week, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a consensus top 10 ranked quarterback for the week. The Detroit Lions get Jacksonville, and I get the optimism. We want to be in on the Lions running backs, not the quarterbacks. The problem with Jared Goff is not his efficiency. He's been very efficient, but it's that the Lions have been crushing. The Lions are 13.5-point favorites against Jacksonville. And the issue is that Jared Goff is 20th among quarterbacks in pass attempts this year. I mean, he only had 15, 22, and 30 attempts over the last 3 games. Before that, 25, 25, 18, 23. There's been only one game this year where Jared Goff has exceeded 30 pass attempts. So if he gets there, it's going to have to be on massive touchdown equity. No, if the Lions are in control of this game, they're not going to pass it. They're going to run the ball. They're going to take the ball out of Jared Goff's hands. He just threw 5 interceptions in the most recent game. So, no, we are, even in what is expected to be a big blowout, it's going to be a Jahmyr Gibbs game. It's going to be a David Montgomery game. Sam Laporta is out. So lots of checkdowns to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think this is a big Amon-Ra PPR week, but we need to be fading Jared Goff in a game, though, that we expect the Lions to handle pretty well. So if you have a better quarterback streamer, stream him over Jared Goff this week. The next player, and he's not let us down this year either, Jakobi Meyers. I feel like I'm talking about him every week. The consensus is always so low on Jakobi Meyers. He's like Tyler Lockett light. You know, if you remember for the past few years, people had been low on Tyler Lockett, underrated Tyler Lockett, and that's how we are approaching Jakobi Meyers. Looking at what Meyers has done over the last few weeks, wide receiver 29, 20, and 16, coming off an 11-target game in week 9 against Cincinnati. We're firing up Jakobi Meyers. He gets the targets. He gets some of the red zone targets, and he's a bona fide top 20 wide receiver, and that's where we have him, wide receiver 19. His consensus is wide receiver 28. We are 9 spots ahead of consensus for Jakobi Meyers. Fire up Jakobi Meyers with confidence as a flex play or wide receiver 2. And the final play for this week, it's deep cut. Are you ready for deep cuts? I'm here for the deep cuts because sometimes these are players that we forget about. We forget are on the possible deep league streaming, like long shot, but Player Profiler has Juju Smith-Schuster ranked 42 spots ahead of consensus. Juju is right now the expert consensus wide receiver 108. 108. And look, Juju only does that when he zeroes out. But when he gets the snaps and gets some of the targets, Juju's fully healthy. Like, he had full practices this week. The Chiefs plan to integrate him back into the team. And so even with 3-4 targets, Juju Smith-Schuster should be able to get you a couple fantasy points, right? And that's what we want. If we're in these super, super, super deep leagues, Juju is not a zero. He is ready to roll. So I expect 50 to 70% of snaps for Juju Smith-Schuster, and then somewhere in the range of, let's say, 3 to 5 targets, which turns into 3 or 4 receptions. Nothing spectacular, but it's going to be better than a 0. So if you are looking for someone to just get you points in those super deep leagues, you've been crushed with injuries, Juju is back in the lineup, and the Player Profiler projections give him a 10% target share. And looking at this matchup, it's against Buffalo. We know Buffalo is really tough against wide receivers overall. They give up the 3rd fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. So you expect them on lockdown on DeAndre Hopkins, lockdown on Travis Kelce, lockdown on Xavier Worthy. But that may leave a few snaps for Juju Smith-Schuster to get some targets. That's what we're looking at. These deep leagues, we don't want to forget about Juju Smith-Schuster. All right, thanks, everyone. Till next time, good luck in fantasy football streets.